Are you ready for some snackable scares? Here are 19 reasons to watch Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. Thanks so much for taking the time to check this video out. Have a look in the links floating around the description and wherever to find my Stephen King themed band t-shirts that I've recently launched, as well as links to my fiction. My brand new collection is out now and ready for you to pick up and read. My newsletter you can sign up for and a bunch of other stuff. But most of all, thank you for stopping by and taking time to check out this video. I really hope you enjoy it. So at the moment we are still in 2006 and we've reached something that I've been really looking forward to revisiting for this channel. The TNT mini-series called Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which gave us 8 different adaptations of Stephen King short stories. So in this video, I'll not only give you my usual 19 reasons to watch it, but I will also combine those reasons with my own personal ranking of the 8 episodes, from my least favourite to my most favourite. And best of all, I'll do it all in a spoiler-free fashion, so you can watch the whole entire thing, okay? Now, if you haven't seen this series and you'd like to check it out, unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere at the time of the recording, but you'll just have to do a bit of digging online, maybe see if you can find it somewhere, pick up the DVD like I did. There are options, you just need to work a little harder than usual. Okay, are you sitting comfortably? Have you locked the doors? Have you checked under the bed? Here are 19 reasons to watch Nightmares and Dreamscapes. So my main reason is the concept here is terrific. Really, really love what they were trying to do. So it's 8 episodes, each one a different director, a different cast, and a different story. And they're all stories that hadn't previously been adapted before. So original content as well, which is really great. Across these 8 episodes, we get 5 stories from Nightmares and Dreamscapes, 2 from Everything's Eventual, and 1 from Night Shift. It's a real mixed bag of stuff, and generally, it's plenty of fun.
What are you, some sort of a horror movie guy? No, Clyde, I'm a literary guy.
Of course, that's not to say it's perfect. Far from it. The effects, the CGI here, are not good at all. Yes, I know they had limited budget for TV back in the mid-noughts, but even so, some bad effects here. And even though I did overall enjoy the entire series, objectively 3 of the 8 episodes are bad. Like really bad. But all that being said, I still love the concept. I love the idea. And I really hope that it gets revived one day and we get another glut of Stephen King's short stories turned into short pieces of television. Okay, for the next 16 reasons, I'm going to dedicate 2 reasons to each of the 8 episodes. And I'm going to go through them in my ranking order. So from my least favourite to my most favourite. This isn't the order that they aired. This is my rundown, if you like, of which ones I think from worst to best. Okay, I'm rambling. Let's just get on with it, shall we? Let's go. So my least favourite was The Fifth Quarter, a truly terrible adaptation of a bad story from Nightmares and Dreamscapes that was directed by Rob Bauman. Despite a fairly decent performance from Samantha Mattis, who we'd recently seen in the Salem's Lot miniseries, it's still bad.
Just think of me as the fifth quarter.
My main problems were basically that it just felt too much like amateur dramatics hour. The dialogue was bad, the acting was bad, you didn't care about the characters, and it was just bland television. So 7th for me was also directed by Rob Bauman. Coincidence? Maybe not. And that one is Umney's Last Case, another pick from Nightmares and Dreamscapes. That's the story you may remember of the 1930s private detective whose world is quite literally turned upside down. And it stars William H. Macy in the lead role.
Get some coffee for her, sugar. Will you, doll?
Now this one should have been better. You've got William H. Macy on board, who is great, and there's an opportunity here to really lean into the period details and make this a mini 30s crime noir type thing. But it just fails miserably. It's an absolute flop. And the ending is really bad also. Real shame. So 6th on my list is Crouch End, another story from Nightmares and Dreamscapes, this one directed by Mark Haber. And this is the one that goes a bit Lovecrafty and is set in London. Although they clearly did not have the budget to film over here because, friends, that ain't London. That ain't anywhere in the UK.
Don't go to Crouch End.
Now, I have many issues with this one. Top of the list, probably, are the accents on display. Because, I mean, what are they?
Bugger off, Joe!
And also just the fact that the whole thing is just camp and trashy as hell in a really bad way. Okay, the remaining 5 episodes I actually like, so we can be a bit more positive from here on in. And 5th on my list is You Know They've Got a Hell of a Band, also from Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And this one was directed by Mike Robe. And it stars Stephen King adaptation stalwart Steven Weber in one of the lead roles. But this is the story where a couple who are driving through America for their vacation find themselves in the little town, the little perfect 1950s style town of Rock and Roll Heaven, Oregon, where all the locals seem impossibly familiar. Yeah, they're all dead rock stars. Now, this episode just gives me what I want from this sort of thing. It leans into the silly, it embraces the weird, and it's just wholly entertaining. And one thing I really liked doing was listening to the list of performers that were going to play at the concert, and just noticing a couple of additions from the story, like mainly Kurt Cobain. Lovely to hear him getting added to that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Obviously, horrible shame that he is dead, but he died after the story was published. So good to see that they updated the residents of Rock and Roll Heaven. So 4th for me was Autopsy Room 4, the story from Everything's Eventual. This one adapted by Mikhail Solomon and starring Richard Thomas as Howard Cottrell, the guy who realizes he's about to experience his own autopsy. It is a romp.
Help me, please!
What I really liked about this one was the balance between the horror and the humour. A lot of this is funny in a dumb sort of way, but you're never too far away from the sheer terror of the situation, being alive on an autopsy table. Like, it feels like the Twilight Zone episode that the story felt like it is, and yeah, I just approve wholeheartedly of this episode.
There you are, you little bugger.
So top 3, and I would genuinely class all of these episodes as excellent. And 3rd on my list is Battleground, an adaptation of a story from Night Shift, directed by Brian Henson. Yes, Henson of the Muppets. This one stars William Hurt as an assassin who gets more than he bargained for after making a hit on a toy maker. Now, this episode could well be the one you've heard about from this series. It gets the most praise and the most column inches about it because it was effectively a silent episode. Not silent, but no dialogue. And it just works brilliantly. The acting is great. The animation is excellent. It's just really fun watch. You can see why this was the opening episode of the series when it aired. So my second favourite is The End of the Whole Mess, the final story on my list from Nightmares and Dreamscapes, another one directed by Mikhail Solomon. And this one features Henry Thomas, another King regular. And he is playing the guy who created world peace, but with a terrible, terrible side effect. So this story is told through a video diary of the brother of Henry Thomas's character. And the result is something that is both gentle and endearing, but also completely horrifying and utterly captivating. It's haunting as well. It pulls in elements of horror, coming of age, brotherly love, big world-changing events, all of those kind of things that King is really good at. And this feels like it's done in an original way. It's quite an original story to start with, and I really like how they adapted it here. It just works. It's a great piece of television, despite the budgetary constraints. But my overall favourite is The Road Virus Heads North, an adaptation of the story from Everything's Eventual by Sergio Manisi Gasson. This is the story of a painting. You know that idea that paintings that follow you around the room? This painting quite literally does follow you. Now, objectively, I will accept that this is not the best episode here, but tonally, this is everything that this entire show should have been. It's lean, it's nasty, it's got some twists, it's got a bit of gore and some scares as well. It feels like a creep show segment. That's why I like it so much. It just works on every level. Okay, for reason 19, I'm going to whiz through King connections and Easter eggs. This is the only part of this video that has potential for spoilers, so if you want to skip ahead to the outro now, do go ahead and do that. Otherwise, let's get into this. So, connections to other King works. Let's start there, shall we? Mikhail Solomon directed the 2004 Salem's Lot miniseries, which also featured Samantha Mattis. Henry Thomas was in the Desperation movie and was later in Gerald's Game and Dr. Sleep. Oh, Samantha Mattis was also later in Big Driver. Richard Thomas, of course, was in the It miniseries. Steven Weber was in the Shining miniseries, was in Desperation, and would later go on to do the It audiobook. And that, I think, unless I missed any, is about it among the cast and crew. So let's go on to some King Easter eggs, because there were a few. So in Battleground, there are some quite obvious visual nods to The Ledge and to Pet Cemetery. In Crouch End, they talk about taking a street called Petrie Street, which feels like a nod to the character in Salem's Lot. Umney's Last Case, a couple of shots in there have some very prominent roses that made me think of a certain tower. The open-top parade in the end of The Whole Mess really felt like JFK's car in 11/22/63. And in The Road Virus Heads North, our main character trips over a copy of the Tommyknockers. Just another problem from that book. In the fifth quarter, the big house that he goes to is 811 Ridge Road. 8 plus 11 is 19. And you know they got a hell of a band. There's a mention of it being 19 miles to get back to the road that they'd left and get back on their proper journey.
19 miles isn't so much.
Did I miss anything else? Let me know. So there we go, a deep dive on Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Like I said at the start, I love the concept here, and I would totally jump in on another version of this series. Would you like to see this sort of thing happen again? And if so, which stories would you like to see adapted? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for checking out this video. You can find links in the description to my fiction, to my newsletter, to my range of Stephen King themed band t-shirts, all of those kind of things. You know the deal. Check them out if you feel like it. Any support is much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. Just make sure you don't miss any future videos. And, well, I guess I'll see you at the next one.